10 Common Tourism Problems and its Solutions. When you commit to a life of travel, you have to accept that it won't always be a smooth operation. Some trips go perfectly without a single problem, but many don't. Some things you can prepare for, others you just have to react to. The best solution to most travel problems is preparation. Sometimes you'll need to be creative and resourceful with your solutions, but this is also one of the joys of traveling. You can't prepare for every eventuality, but no problem is insurmountable. While the situations and specific circumstances may differ, there are common problems that happen to all travelers eventually. We'll discuss 10 of the most common travel problems and ways to avoid them. 1. Getting lost. Some people have fantastic spatial awareness, others not so much, but most people have got lost at least once in their life. It can be a horrible feeling, your heart beating faster as the panic starts to rise. You can get lost anywhere: a supermarket, airport, town center, or in the wilderness. With modern technology, this is one of the easier travel problems to avoid. In the past, you'd need a map for each country. Nowadays, almost everyone has a smartphone. Before you leave, download Google Maps and then download the offline map for whichever cities you'll be visiting. The offline maps are tiny, normally between 20 to 50 MB. With the offline map on your phone, you can browse even without an internet connection. 2. Getting mugged. Some countries are more dangerous than others. It's important to check for any government warnings before you visit. It's also advisable to check Facebook groups and other forums for the opinions of other travelers. The first thing you need to do is report it to the police. You'll need a crime reference number to claim on your insurance. If you're traveling with Worldpackers, your host will know the nearest police station and be able to help you with any translation issues. 3. Losing your phone. This is one of the more common travel problems, as mobile phones are big business all over the world. Your shiny new iPhone could be a year's worth of wages for a local. The solution is to use common sense and not wave it around in public. As with all valuables, keep them out of plain sight and, wherever possible, on your person or locked in a safe. Make sure you know all your passwords. Update all your account details before leaving. Have a backup email address to receive those annoying security codes. 4. Getting sick. Sickness comes in many forms when you're traveling. Insect bites. While some bites can just be itchy or a slight annoyance, others can be quite dangerous. If you're going to a place where mosquitoes or other bugs are known to bite, wrap up. Better than any repellent is a layer of clothing. If you do get bitten, try not to scratch. Easier said than done, but this can lead to worse problems. If you get bitten and start to feel sick, seek medical advice immediately. Sunburn. Even if it's cloudy, wear protector. Check the weather conditions before you travel, and especially the UV levels. A cloudy sky can still produce dangerous levels of UV, and that's what does the real damage. Food poisoning. Food poisoning is a travel problem that can strike at any moment. Symptoms can include nausea, stomach cramps, vomiting, or diarrhea. If it's bad, then it can hit you within hours of eating or drinking the contaminated thing. Anti-diarrhea tablets can be a lifesaver. Drink plenty of fluids, but avoid dairy and alcohol. Once you start to feel a little better, then start with soups or broths and build back up to solid foods. 5. Not speaking the language. Not being able to communicate with the people around you can lead to all kinds of emotions. Loneliness, anger, frustration, determination, encouragement, elation. While being unable to speak the local language can cause lots of negative emotions, it can also be the catalyst to greatness. Body language, sign language, gestures, and smiles. They are all powerful ways to communicate. Use every single one of them. If you're afraid of speaking new languages abroad, don't shy away from meeting new people because you don't know words. Use these other forms of communication as an icebreaker. The best way to learn a language while traveling? Speak. It can be slow, painful, or lead to lots of laughter. It all depends on what attitude you approach it with. While some languages are much harder to grasp than others, a lack of words is a travel problem with an easy solution. 6. Loneliness. Loneliness is not one of the travel problems which affects everyone, but when it strikes, it can be the worst problem imaginable. There's no single trigger. It doesn't just affect people who suffer from depression or emotional people. No matter how strong or independent you are, loneliness can set in and ruin your trip. There's no easy cure for loneliness. Humans are sociable creatures by design, so the easiest solution is to reach out. The saying "you're never alone when you're traveling" is mostly true. Unless you're way out in the wild, then chances are you'll be able to speak to somebody. Speak to your Worldpackers host or other travelers. 7. Running out of money. This can be a major problem which you'll definitely want to avoid. Unexpected things do happen though. Things break, unexpected charges come up, plans change and emergencies happen. It's impossible to account for every eventuality. Before you travel, research the country you're visiting. You want to have an idea of the general cost of living so you can budget properly. 8. Missing a flight. This all depends on whose fault it was, yours or the airline. If it's your fault, there's very little that can be done. 99% of the time this is one of the travel problems with a simple solution. Always arrive in plenty of time. If you think there's even a possibility you won't make it, then check the rescheduling rules for your ticket. If you do miss the flight and it was all your own fault, then it's time to beg. Airlines have no obligation to help you if it was your fault. A missed flight isn't the end of the world. Take it as a travel lesson to learn from. 9. Baggage not arriving. This is one of those infuriating surprise travel problems. You check your bags in, get the boarding pass, enjoy the flight, and then your bags don't arrive with you. According to Airfare Watchdog, on average, airlines lose around 2 bags for every 1,000 passengers, and that includes bags that are temporarily misplaced. If your bags don't arrive, be sure to speak with the airline staff and find out the procedure. You may have to phone them or they call you. Some airlines deliver misplaced bags to your hostel while others need you to go and collect it. Before you leave the airport, make sure you know the exact procedure, they have your details and you have theirs. 10. Breaking up with a partner. It doesn't matter if it's a girlfriend, boyfriend, best friend or family member, disagreements happen. When you're living in each other's pockets 24/7, there are more opportunities for these disagreements to happen. My advice for traveling with a partner is to be honest and to compromise, but don't compromise your happiness. That concludes my list of the most common travel problems and ways to avoid them.